Imagine walking through the ruins of an ancient city at night. The wind moves through broken stone pillars like whispers from another world. Somewhere beyond the torchlight, hidden behind carved doors and underground chambers, men and women gather. They speak in coded language. They wear masks or ritual robes. They hold sacred objects no outsider has ever touched. And they swear oaths that could cost them their life if broken. These aren't myths. These aren't just stories. These are the secret societies of the ancient world, groups that shaped empires, guarded forbidden knowledge, and influenced history from behind the shadows. But here's the unsettling truth. We don't fully know who they were, because they were never meant to be found. Our story begins in ancient Mesopotamia, the birthplace of urban life. Here, around 4,000 years ago, the first great cities rose between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. Mesopotamia was the land of scribes, priests, astronomers, and terrifying gods. In this civilization, writing itself was considered sacred. Only a small elite could read the wedge-shaped cuneiform symbols, and that elite often belonged to priestly circles. But among them, there were deeper levels, inner orders that guarded knowledge about the stars and time itself. The priests who tracked the movements of planets and predicted eclipses didn't just do astronomy. They controlled prophecy. They told rulers when to wage war, when to harvest, when a god was angry. And because this knowledge was reserved for the initiated, it formed one of history's earliest secret societies, the inner priesthood of the temple complexes. These Mesopotamian priestly societies weren't just religious, they were political. The temple wasn't only a sacred place, it was a bank, a school, and a governmental center. Certain rituals were so private that even high-ranking citizens could not witness them. Some scholars believe these secret ceremonies were the earliest versions of mystery traditions, where symbolic acts taught initiates the hidden meanings of life, death, and cosmic order. These were secrets not meant for the public, because to reveal them was to risk destabilizing the very structure of society. From Mesopotamia, we move to ancient Egypt, the civilization of immortal pharaohs and timeless pyramids. Egypt is perhaps the most famous ancient culture associated with secret knowledge, and for good reason. The Egyptian priesthood operated with rigid hierarchies, sacred initiations, and hidden texts. The priests were guardians of spiritual power, but also of mathematics, architecture, medicine, and astronomy. To be initiated into the deeper mysteries of Egypt was to enter a world where religion and science were fused into one cosmic system. At the heart of this secrecy was the mystery of the afterlife. Egyptian society revolved around death not as an end, but as a transformation. Temples were not just places of worship, they were gateways. Only the initiated priests could access the inner sanctums, where sacred rituals were performed with divine statues, incense, and chants meant to awaken cosmic forces. The most intense secrets were tied to the cult of Osiris, the god of resurrection, whose myth mirrored the promise of rebirth for the faithful. Initiates were believed to reenact symbolic death and rebirth in sacred ceremonies. It wasn't a performance. It was transformation. Now, travel with me across the Mediterranean to ancient Greece, where secret societies became not only powerful, but celebrated through mystery schools. Greece gave us philosophy, theater, democracy, and science, but it also gave us the most famous mystery tradition of all time, the Eleusinian Mysteries. For nearly 2,000 years, these mysteries were held annually in the city of Eleusis near Athens. Thousands of participants were initiated, including philosophers, generals, and even emperors. And yet, despite how widely attended the Eleusinian Mysteries were, the secrets of what happened inside remain locked behind silence. In ancient China, secret societies developed around philosophy, martial arts, loyalty, and rebellion. While many associate Chinese secret societies with later dynasties, the roots go far deeper. China has long-held traditions of hidden brotherhoods formed for mutual protection, spiritual training, and resistance against corrupt rulers. Early philosophical orders, such as Taoist sects, often practiced rituals and teachings that were not meant for outsiders. Taoism itself is filled with esoteric practices, including meditation techniques, breath control, alchemical experiments, and teachings about immortality. Some Taoist orders practiced internal alchemy, believing the body could be refined like gold. And then there were secret networks embedded within society, groups bound by ritual loyalty. Symbols, hand signs, and coded language became the invisible glue of underground brotherhood. These organizations were not always criminal. Often, they were survival. In a world of emperors and warlords, secrecy was armor. Now, Let's move to a civilization so mysterious that even its language was once lost, the Maya. Hidden deep in the jungles of Central America, Maya civilization flourished with astonishing knowledge of mathematics, calendars, astronomy, and ritual. Their priests tracked the stars with precision so advanced it still stuns modern historians. But Maya society was deeply hierarchical, and religious knowledge was restricted. Priesthoods held secrets about the cosmos, time cycles, and the terrifying duties of blood sacrifice. To the Maya, time itself was sacred. They believed the universe was governed by repeating cycles, great cosmic gears turning endlessly. Only the priests understood these cycles and could interpret them. Their temples weren't just monuments, they were cosmic machines aligned with the heavens. Rituals were timed precisely to celestial events. The elite controlled these rituals, and therefore controlled reality itself in the eyes of the people. Maya rulers were not merely kings, they were intermediaries between worlds. The power structure depended on sacred secrecy. Priests performed rituals in hidden temple chambers, sometimes using hallucinogenic substances to enter visions where they communicated with gods and ancestors. These weren't public festivals. These were sacred operations meant to maintain the universe. And those who held that knowledge held civilization's spiritual core. But perhaps the most intriguing question is this: why did ancient civilizations need secret societies at all? Because secrecy creates power. It creates identity. It creates a boundary between us and them. Secret societies make their members feel chosen, special, enlightened, protected. In times when life was uncertain, brutal, and short, belonging to an inner circle meant security and meaning. But it also meant danger. Because secret societies weren't just about wisdom. They were about control. And sometimes, secret societies emerged as resistance against power. In ancient Rome, for example, secret religious cults spread through the empire like wildfire. One of the most famous was the cult of Mithras, a mysterious brotherhood primarily made of soldiers. Mithra's worship involved secret initiations, underground temples called Mithria, and rituals tied to cosmic symbolism. Members passed through ranks, each with secret meanings and roles. The cult was especially popular among Roman legions because it offered something the empire could not: brotherhood, spiritual purpose, and the promise of salvation. What happened in those underground temples? We aren't sure. Initiates swore secrecy, but murals and artifacts suggest they reenacted the myth of Mithras slaying a sacred bull, an act believed to renew the universe. It was cosmic and violent, and for the Roman soldier, it mirrored the brutal world they lived in. The cult offered not just worship, but identity, a hidden brotherhood in a world ruled by conquest. Across all these civilizations, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, China, Maya lands, and Rome, we see a pattern. Secret societies form around three forces: sacred knowledge, political influence, and rebellion. They protect secrets because secrets shape reality. If you can convince a people that you alone understand the gods, the stars, the afterlife, and the meaning of time, you can control them without chains. But what happened to these secret societies? Did they vanish? Or did they evolve? The truth is, secret societies never really disappeared. They transformed. Ancient mystery schools influenced later religious movements, philosophical orders, and esoteric traditions. Many historians argue that early Christian rituals borrowed from earlier mystery traditions. Others believe that secret societies laid the foundation for groups like medieval guilds, the Knights Templar, and later fraternal orders. Whether or not there is a direct line of connection, the idea remains the same. Some knowledge is considered too powerful for the masses, and those who believe they possess it will always protect it. If a society believes its rulers are divine, they obey. If they believe priests can speak to the gods, they fear. If they believe a ritual keeps the sun rising, they participate. Secret societies didn't just hide knowledge. They shaped civilization's mind. And that might be the most dangerous kind of power ever created. As the documentary closes, imagine again that ancient city at night. The torches burn low. The ritual chants fade into the shadows. The doors close. The secrets remain inside. And history moves forward, never fully knowing what was spoken, what was promised, and what was sacrificed in those hidden halls. But perhaps that was the entire point. Because secret societies don't die when empires fall. They live in stories. They live in symbols carved into stone.